70% of the kids in the system are there because of neglect. The other 30% are put through hell. We need your help.
Welcome to Shalom World TV's Beyond the Vision, a show that features faith-based film and television. I'm your host, Joelle Maryn, and today we're going behind the scenes of the film Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot.
Oh, Lord.
If we can't wrap our arms around the most vulnerable, then what do we have? Noise! And the children can't take the noise anymore.
This community left the comfort zone and just got their arms around these kids and have been an example to many, many hundreds of thousands. Honestly, this story goes way back, and it's really broken ground.
We were called to protect children, and children were, supposed to be in families and protected by their families. And when they're not, they're so vulnerable to exploitation. But this shows us the solution, that we can all do something. We can be part of this. We can see churches rise up and care for children, and we can reverse this foster crisis in America and across the world.
Go and meet the needs of these orphans who are in crisis, who are in struggle. His heart is for them. So my hope is that people feel that personally.
Joining us today are the writers and producers of the film, Joshua and Rebekah Weigel. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Josh, this film depicts the importance of family and the effects of how the wounds of neglect and abuse can impact children. Can you share more about that and give us an overview of the film?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, the story is about 22 families in a little town, a little area, East Texas in the United States, where a pastor and his wife led their community in adopting 77 kids out of the foster system. And they asked for the ones that were difficult to place. They really wanted to focus on the kids that were having difficulty finding homes. And so, powerful, true story. This story affected us deeply. And one of the things that I think was so important is that they're like everybody else. This is not a specially trained class of Christians. These are everyday people with the same call that we all have from God. And that's what they did. They stepped into a situation that really we feel every one of us has a part in. They recognized that kids were suffering. They recognized that they had a responsibility to do something about that. They didn't overthink it. They didn't do everything right. It was a tough situation for everybody. These kids are dealing with a lot because of the trauma. And I think it's just an example to us of people who say we follow Jesus, that we do what he does. We go where he is, and we leave our comfort zones. And this community left the comfort zone and just got their arms around these kids and have been an example to, I think, many, many hundreds of thousands. Honestly, this story goes way back, and it's really broken ground in America, and I think beyond that, and has just been an example that we wanted to follow and bring to the world.
Yeah, and I love how you said, you didn't try to sugarcoat this either. I mean, you're telling a true story. This is not easy, but it is a call to discipleship. And, Rebekah, we're so unaware. I mean, it's hundreds of thousands of children are in the foster care system. And, many of these children, they have suffered great traumas. And now there's also a link between that and sex trafficking cases.
22 families want to adopt. Whole town wants kids now. That's about right. What's happening with Possum Trot could mean a huge change for the system.
We want the ones that nobody else wants.
Who hurt you, baby? I'm not giving up on you. You can't give up on me either. What we gonna do? Everybody's falling apart.
I'm doing the best I can.
Josh, can you share with us how far you've strayed from the true actual stories of the children depicted in the movie? Like, is this really exactly what happened? Was there any parts that had to get modified?
We took on this story. We felt like, let's get as close to the real thing as we can. And the biggest challenge is you've got 77 kids, 22 families, so you've got well over 100 people. And you got to get it to work on screen in a couple of hours or so. So it was a priority. And there are times where, in actuality, we don't know exactly what happened. So take, Mercedes' mother, for example. That's one of the adopted children of the Martins, the main characters. And her mother is killed in a drug deal. So there were times where we had to kind of like make up what that was like because nobody really knew. And we tried as much as we possibly could to depict what happened in that child's life. There may have been some creative choices made in how that's depicted because it's a movie, but we tried to stay close. And if we couldn't quite fit it into the other characters we would maybe let one of the characters you are following in the movie experience something that someone else in the community did. So it sort of represents real things that other kids in those communities faced and out there in the world. We didn't just make up anything. But what you're going to see is very, very close to what happened. And that's what's been remarkable, is it's allowed us to be able to step back and go, you can really take this and learn from it and experience it and see through the eyes of these kids because we managed to stay so close to what happened.
So Josh, can you tell us how can we watch the film?
Yeah, so July 4th is the opening. You can actually see July 3rd. It's all part of the same sort of release, but the official release is July 4th. Theaters nationwide in the United States. It will go beyond the United States shortly after. I don't know exactly the plan there, but you can go all across the country and see it. You can buy tickets now. We're being told tickets are selling out in certain places, so please understand we're up against big studios that really aren't interested in changing the world like we all are. And I'm not asking people to go see a movie begrudgingly that they, as a favor. You are going to we're giving you something that I think will really be satisfying besides the issue. You're going to enjoy a night out with the family, but we encourage people to go July 4th. Bring your family, bring your communities, bring your small groups, whatever it is. And this is not just a Christian movie. Honestly, I don't even think of movies that way, but you are going to experience a lot in this and a lot of emotions. It's going to be a great experience.
Yeah, well, it certainly touches the human heart. So everyone who sees this is going to be moved and stirred. And it's just such a beautiful film. Can you share your heart behind writing this and also the decision to release the film on the 4th of July?
Yeah, so, in America alone, there's 400,000 children in the foster system, 100,000 that are waiting for adoption. And when we don't adopt these children, they age out of the foster system and oftentimes become trafficked, homeless, incarcerated, because we were called to protect children, and children were, supposed to be in families and protected by their families. And when they're not, they're so vulnerable to exploitation. And so we want to see people rise up and care for these kids and protect these kids. And we're really excited that it's being released as a follow-up to Sound of Freedom, because Sound of Freedom showed the problem, brought awareness. We need to fight for children. But this shows us the solution, that we can all do something. We can be part of this. We can see churches rise up and care for children, and we can reverse this foster crisis in America and across the world.
I ain't never seen you so scared. Is he speaking to you? Is he speaking?
And Josh, we get to see this beautiful finished product that you put together, to depict what's really going on and bring this awareness. But what was the process like, not just to make this film, but also to get people to believe in your vision and invest in it?
Yeah, it's really difficult to get a movie off the ground, period. And the kinds of stories that we want to tell, I think there's a greater challenge in some sense, because you have to be really careful with them. And this was a story that we knew could be done in a lot of different ways, but there was one way that we felt it needed to be done that would really capture the power of it. And so there's like years of prayer and years of fasting and seeking God for him to be found and experienced in whatever we do. I hope everyone's praying that, but that's been our prayer. And so because of that, like we knew we need to have the right creatives, we need to have the right financiers. It's like across the board. You need to have all these the right components. So, you know, I get really excited about the creative side. I feel like there's something cinematic. There has to be something really cinematic about an idea if you're going to make a movie out of it. I think a lot of movies are made that don't have that, but we felt like let's capture this in a way that is authentic and honors the story, but is cinematic, so that when people see this, they're enjoying a movie. They're having an experience for all the reasons we love to go to the movies, and it works in the theater. And so I think that got people excited. I think that was part of it, that it wasn't just a simple little drama, but it was really going to capture a timelessness. It was going to capture another world for a lot of people. And ultimately, you know, wanting all the creative elements to be elevated to the highest possible place. And I think one of the things that we were really blessed to achieve was finding the right actors who brought something so powerful and so deep to this story that, you know, we're seeing it affect people powerfully. You know, so it's a combination of all those things. And I think speaking from that place as a creative attracts the right kind of people, because you're determined to get it right. You set a bar, you're like, we're not going to accept less than this. We're all going to aim for that, and hopefully we get close to it. And then, you know, for the financiers, they just needed to know it was less about making money. It wasn't about making money on this one, honestly. The money was donated by people who believed in the story and said, look, go make the movie the Holy Spirit wants you to make. You don't ever hear that. So they stepped away, funded it, and said, it just empowered us. And so that helped us to achieve something really special and unique. And they allowed us to adjust to lots of problems we faced because of that too. So I could go on about it, but honestly, we just have to have the right team. We had the vision that people responded to, and we're just grateful that they stood by our side.
Are you sure these people want us?
I know they do.
You can call me Mama. Oh, Lord.
If we can't wrap our arms around the most vulnerable, then what do we have? Noise! And the children can't take the noise anymore.
Well, and I love that you started with prayer, and that you're being on this isn't an overnight thing. So for anybody who's trying to create something good for the kingdom, whether it's in media or elsewhere, that we need to be patient and pray and persevere and not give up and wait for God to, you know, bring all the pieces and people together to make this what he wants it to be. And I love how you guys did that, and you prayed and fasted and waited for God to answer that prayer. And he does. He's a good father. He always provides what we need, you know. And there were also scenes in the film, Rebekah, that it was so like every person in the audience can connect to it. Like there's a scene where a young girl, she's looking in the mirror and she's trying to tell herself positive things about who she is. Isn't that all of us, right? Like trying to truly believe in us and see ourselves how God sees us. But then her thoughts go into negativity and the lies about her self-image. It's a battle that we all face, you know, to see ourselves as God sees us. As a writer, can you share the importance of this scene and what led you to write it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely something that we all face as, you know, our identity, how God sees us. And I think especially for these kids that are in the system that, you know, they've had so much trauma and so many bad things happen to them and oftentimes struggle with their identity. Like, who are they? Does God have a purpose for them? And we really wanted people to connect with these children because we feel like in the foster care system, so often these kids are, you know, protected, but because of that, they're anonymous. We don't see them. We don't see their struggles. We don't see what they're going through. And it's easy to look away and to just think it's not our responsibility when we don't see the kids, we don't meet them, and they're not in our lives. So we wanted to put the kids out front and show what they're going through and really get people to connect to them on a heart level, because it's harder to look away once you meet these kids. And it's doing what we hoped. I mean, people are really connecting. Little, Terry was played by Diana Babnikova. She's from the UK. She's a fantastic actress. She's so likable. People are connecting with her, and they're leaving theaters saying, how do I get involved? How do I help? I want to be part of the solution.
Yeah, and I love what you said. It's hard to look away after watching this. And I think it's going to stir people's hearts in ways they were not expecting, kind of by surprise. Also, I love that there were elements that you don't have to have it all together or be ready or be perfect. Like, what one of us is really ready for whatever we're supposed to do every single day and be like, oh, I'm ready. We never feel ready to do the things that God is calling us to, maybe on one good day here and there. But overall, we just need to, trust in him and take those steps and know that he'll give the grace with each step. Josh, what would be the one message that you wish every viewer would take out of this movie? And what steps are you, hoping that they actually take to help?
Knowing this is a movie is important, first of all, that you're going to go and have an experience. And I want people to understand, like, beyond us, beyond anyone who's been involved in this, something is going on. As we watch how people are responding to this movie, it's unbelievable. I mean, they're experiencing something powerful and unique to them, and God is moving. You're going to experience him, and that's the most unbelievable answer to prayer. That's what you hope for as a follower of Jesus, as an artist. And within that, is this desire that we will connect with who we are. It's easy to think of this issue as something for other people. But the reality is, this is something God asks of everyone who follows him. We don't get to say, that's for specially trained people. So whether it's actually caring for children directly, taking them into your family, that may not be for everyone. But he does say, go and meet the needs of these orphans who are in crisis, who are in struggle. His heart is for them. So my hope is that people feel that personally, and they trust that God is going to be right there with them. However it is that he wants them to be involved, he will be with them, but they must stand up and move into the lives of these children, because that's where Jesus already is. He's already there. You got people like Mother Teresa, who knew that so intimately, and risked everything and put it all on the altar. And she's not special. In a sense, she did what everyone should do to some degree. Like, we have to give up our life for Jesus and say, wherever you're going, I'm going to go there. And so we need to let go of the fear and trust. If we have faith, we just have to live it. Like, do we have faith or not? So have faith into what your part is in this. Maybe it is adopting and fostering. Maybe it's just helping families. Maybe it's just being a support to those who are. But we can't look away. None of us get to look away. And there's so much power and beauty in that. So that's my hope, is that people embrace who they are, what their place is in this, with joy and faith. And we will literally change the world. The world will look at us and go, you're doing something I could never do. What is going on with you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just incredible, and how when we bring truth to the light and we let people, kind of see behind closed doors what's going on in people's lives, and see, everything is not perfect, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but it does show us what God looks like through caring, through loving, through seeing other people. And, like I said, we never feel equipped, but it could be even someone who also sees this film as someone who's been through the foster care system, who has suffered, who can now take their wounds and be wounded healers and, possibly bring people into their homes or give talks and bring awareness or, just kind of spread the word. There's so many ways that people can help. And for those that have had, even if you had a family and you've had mother wounds or father wounds, like, there's a way that you can use your own woundedness to say, well, I don't want another child to suffer what I did. I want to help, and of course that's through prayer and discernment, and what that help looks like. Do you take the child into your home? Do you, become an advocate? Do you promote the film and host a screening at your church? Like, there's just different ways that we can all come together and share about that. Now, also, I find it so beautiful that you guys work as a couple on this, and that's a family unit in itself, working on a film about family and bringing that together. Rebekah, can you share with us, what was it like to work as a couple? Was it more difficult? Did you need extra grace? Was it extra blessed? We would just love to hear the truth. Pull the curtain back.
We've been married for 28 years and we have 5 kids, and we actually work really well together. We complement each other really well. I was pursuing psychology before I started helping him with film. So I have my master's in psychology and was going to do counseling, marriage and family counseling. I have a heart to see healing. And Josh is an artist and he's a visionary and he's just so good with dialogue. And I think when we come together, I bring a lot of the heart to the characters. And I think just who we are complement each other in the filmmaking process. And we both want to make films that impact the world and change culture and transform lives. And the power of story. I mean, Jesus used story when he, to teach and to, look at his stories and how they've impacted history. And we just think there's something about being in a theater, experiencing a powerful story with the music and the characters and all of this together. And we want to see God just move through our stories and transform lives and shape culture. So that's our goal. We work really well together, and we love working together, actually. And honestly, we were in the trenches with our own kids when we were writing this story because we had just adopted 2 of our kids. And so we were going through a lot of the same things that this community and this family was going through. But we didn't have this strong community the way that Bennett Chapel had. And so, we want to see more of that where foster and adoptive families are really supported well in their churches too.
I thank you guys so much for all the hard work you've done and for being with us today to share this vision.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
It's really great.
Thank you so much.
The real world hits hard.
I don't want to be here. I can't give him back.
We gotta work on this together. We your people now. And love never gives up.
For all of you watching, Sound of Hope, The Story of Possum Trot is a heart-touching and inspiring film that is a must-see. Spread the word, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again real soon. God be with you. Shalom.
Ten years of sharing the peace of Christ. Shalom World, God's own channel.